So I think my duty is to give back to people which they have anyway, which belongs to their own tradition, but it's not visible, it's not conscious, it's not on the surface anymore. So all this knowledge, this ancient knowledge, which was deeply rooted in the Hungarian oral tradition, and I would say the oral tradition of humanity, since they were sometimes very difficult to make the borders. And I really do believe in the collective subconscious, in the Carl Gustav Jung's term. So we are related, but we forget it every now and then. And since this ancient healing power, deeply rooted in our tradition, let's say that, it's under our feet, but we don't recognize it. We are not conscious about it. And my duty is to bring it on surface and offer it for you, for all the Hungarians. Come on, it's yours. You have it. Deal with it. Live with it. You just listen and you just sing. How your ancestors did. But of course, not in the same way. Since life is changing, culture is changing. So of course, the circumstances are different. And then we come to the question of the forms of the content, yeah? But electronic or world music or jazzy or ethno-jazz or contemporary folk or whatever. And I was never interested in about this brackets. These boxes. I always hated to be defined. I hated to be defined. I never followed any paths. I always wanted to create my own. I never take care of the mainstream. I always did what I wanted to do, and I found the people, the collaborators for my aims. That's how I found Hortobágyi, the first CD. Then I found for the Renaissance CD, Renaissance musicians, Viola da Gamba and Renaissance lute. And the percussionist, the genius percussionist who was a jazzy, in jazz context, Horváth Kornél, who was actually elected the best percussionist of the world by the British Rhythm magazine in 2006. So he is my percussionist. And for these series also, I invited people whom I think are the best for that message. And it's not a group. So it's more difficult like this. Of course, they are projects. They are projects, and I invite people for projects. And for this, I invited, I told you this, a young singer, Deva, and Mizsei Zoltán, Mizsei, who is the keyboard player for most of my CDs, and musical director as well. And some jazz musicians like cimbalom or dulcimer player, Lukács Miklós, who is also great. And a violinist, who is an Indian violinist. I mean, Hungarian, had been studying the Indian, using the Indian violin, Zoltán Lantos, because he's free, you know? And just like the dulcimer player. So I did not want to ask folk musicians who stick to the tradition and cannot go behind and beyond and above. You know, and jazz musicians are free, this particularly, whom I asked for this work, and they could understand what I would like to express. I would like to express that this is a deeply Hungarian stuff, but it is universal. And I do want to spread it all over the globe because it's not only a Hungarian problem and a Hungarian topic. It's universal, and these jazz musicians like Zoltán Lantos, with the violinist, Miklos Luhár, the dulcimer player, and the percussionist, and Ágoston Béla, who is saxophonist and also plays the Hungarian bagpipe, and so they can transform with me this very local tradition to be global. So it becomes a world music, so to say, or a timeless, spaceless, borderless music, I hope. But I really mean that it is Hungarian at the same time.
Did this come from childhood, this intuitive recognition of the power of singing? And can you remember your first experience and most transportive experience of that?
I don't know which was the very first experience, but I remember I was in a great personal crisis in 2000, around 2000, and I went to the Törmerbad in Budapest, to the Lukácsfürdő, which has a cupola structure. An ancient, like Turkish baths mostly have a cupola. That's why I love to sing in caves also, and then I went to the middle of this cupola, middle of the thermal bath, and I just sank till the water was here. So I could take a breath and I could sing like mumble. And so on. And then at that moment I realized that it's so good for me, and I didn't utter any words since my mouth was under the water. And then I absolutely experienced the physical power of singing, the effect on my body and soul. Plus, I recognize that all the natural elements, the water, the earth, which was this architecture built of the stone, the air, it was very muggy, foggy, the hot water streaming, and this cupola was open like ancient yurtas, or in Mongolia or Kazakhstan, in Asia, they have a hole in the top, and the sun just came in.
Wow.
And I was standing in the middle of this cupola, of this microcosmos, and I felt the sun, the light coming to my body. So then I experienced the four elements and my voice and my body and soul at the same moment. And I could recognize that singing makes so good for me that I absolutely recovered there. And then I experienced the power, the physical and mental power of the voice itself. Plus, I recognized that other people who were sitting around me, because I was not alone in the thermal bath, they were, watching like this. What is it? Where does it comes from? This sound, and I also I did it. It was a kind of camouflage, they didn't know what was the source of the sound, because there was no movement visible on my face, and the sound and the voice, was spread over in by the water and by the scuba, gave back the strength, the power of the voice very strongly.
Yes.
Back to the people who were sitting around. I was sitting in the middle of this round bath, and some people were sitting around me and they were watching what's happened to them. And I didn't say that it was me. And then I saw that, oh, they're looking nicer and like they cleaned up and they're a little more beautiful. So something happened, you know.
Right.
And later I went to the cold chimney, called chamber, immediately, because it's very, very difficult to stand this hot water with singing more than 20 minutes. It's impossible. It was a hot water then. And then somebody followed me. And I said, were you the one who gave this wonderful singing and this wonderful Gregorian chant is coming from you? He asked. I said, oh, how did you know? Yes, it was me. I said, it was so relaxing. Why do you come next time? I would come and follow you if you come next time. So then it became a habit, and I went every week and tried to sing there. So it was a very personal experience when I really felt on my body and soul that singing makes effect on me and for the other people as well. And then I also had a very nice personal experience with my first CD, the Rosebuds in a Stone Yard, Világva in Hungarian, had what an effect it had on people, regardless the fact that whether they understand or not the lyrics, the text. So I had to realize that singing itself, the physical power of the waves, of the physical character of the sound created by the human voice, should have some very elementary effect on certain people. And it was that I had a concert in Rudolstadt in Germany, in a church, with Schneidberger. I remember the famous jazz guitarist. And he came, and somebody, an unknown young person, came to me after the concert and he gave me an apple. It was before 2000. It was in 1997, I think. And he said, I don't have anything else but this apple. I want to give to you, he said, in exchange for the gift you gave me with your voice. Because when I listened to your CD, that was my first CD, it totally changed my life, he said. And I said, oh, and why? And he said, I painted my room totally to different colors after that. And that was the first shock for me. It was after my first CD. So it was before 2000. And this couple effect, it was in 2000, I thought. So step by step, I got very personal experiences on my body and my soul, and on the effect of some other people's personal life story. That my singing has something to do with different turns of life. And it was nothing, and I realized that the reason is not in the quality of my voice. But I thought, as an anthropologist of music and religion, that the power is in the sincere, natural, elementary singing. And this is typical in Hungarian folk music, or in Celtic, or Sami, or Indian, or Arabic, or every traditional music who is sincere, simple, pure.
Yes.
You know? And I think this is the most elementary the most anthropological function of singing, to heal the individual and the community. And step by step, with these personal experiences, I did realize that I have to do something with it. And that led me to this series. And actually, I had a dream. Did I tell you?
No.
I had a dream once when I saw this mandala, which I put in this CD also, under it. So I saw a mandala,
Oh yeah.
which was a hole with a ring, with a cross, and 4 rings within in the small parts. And in the morning I tried to understand what was it. And then I thought it was in 2003, I think, 2003, 4, and I said, oh, wow, it should be. It is the universe. It is my universe. It is my microcosmos. It is my way. So my subconscious gave me the message.
Wow.
My subconscious gave me the message about about my voice and what my duties, what I have to do. And I realized, oh, these 4 rings, they symbolize the 4 CD. So it should be. And what is my calling? What I should sing about? The femininity, no, the sacred, the sacred power, the sacred communication, the femininity, the inner voice, and the elements, and the healing power itself. So then it was formulated in my mind in about 2003 and 4 that I should create a 4 series about showing to the people, giving back to the Hungarians what was obvious in the Hungarian tradition, that singing has a healing, therapeutic, helping power. And it was important in the sacred tradition, because do you know how was the sacred singing powerful or healing?
I've learned some of that from you, but I don't know as much as I'd like. Maybe you could tell us.
Because of the timing. So it is built on the yearly time circle.
I see.
Like Christmas, Eastern Pentecost, you know. So the main sacred feasts are celebrated in the folk religion, in the traditional communities, with singing always. And if you sing the Christmas songs, Christmas carols during Christmas time, and dead laments and God Fridays and Eastern songs and Easter, then they can fix you in the global time, you know. It can stabilize your personal life.
Yes.
You know, in time, and that's why it has the healing power, because in this global time. It somehow, it can define your life in time, and it
A
is
landmark.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke about the healing power of voice and saying and singing, but which I absolutely wanted to put on the CD. The traditional blessings, good wishes, about well-being. If there was a birthday or a New Year ritual, people always sang to the other, and wishes, and the songs which contained well wishes about their body, about their properties, and and the household, and wishing you richness and health and happiness. They meant that if they wish, it will come true.
Yes.
If they wish it through singing, it really will come true, because voice creates reality. And this ancient magical power of the voice was used in the ritual songs. And I wanted to put the power of this ancient blessings and good wishes also into the CD. So, and something about the rational and intuitive structure of a CD, let's say this. It's very important to see that what is rational in this is my scientific background to collect the sound, to make the conception, to make the philosophy behind a CD, but which is intuitive, is the creating of the voice. So it's not an elaborative technique behind it. So it's important to know that I was very conscious about not to be treated for an opera singer, for instance, and even not to be treated for a Schubert singing. Or I didn't want to sing romantic style at all in the music history. The latest I wanted to sing in the musical history chronologically, it was the Renaissance. Because I studied some singing, but I was very conscious about stopping the music history song repertoire at the Renaissance. So folk singing was always my aim. And during my university studies, I went to some personal private singing classes, but I wanted to find a teacher who will not force me to sing Schubert songs with piano and such things. I knew that this is not my way. And bel canto changed so much the characteristics of a singer voice, that with Baroque singing it will be totally changed the technique of pronouncing, creating a voice. So this is about conscious and unconscious part of the creation.
I love what you said, because it's an embrace of all the universal tools at your disposal, yet it's grounded in inner culture, inner history, because it has to be. If it isn't incarnational...
That's why it's authentic.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if you just pick up, from the wall, it can be plastic very easily. If it's not rooted deeply in a local or a real tradition, it can be plastic music for me. I cannot tell you more nicely. So it is authentic but free, but not authentic. So built by authenticity and creating a new sovereign music. That's why I hope, which is universal, which can be universal, even though you don't understand the text, the lyrics.
Well, when I had my profound experience of your music, I must admit, because my Hungarian is so bad, I didn't actually know the words yet. You sent the words to me later, but I still had this experience of ecstasy because of the sound of the voice.
I hate the genres and disciplines.
Yes.
I always break the genres and the disciplinary borders. I was, they kind of define me. I mean, journalists and even in the science. So I'm an anthropologist, but also in the communication studies and folkloristics, and I've been teaching semiotics and communication theory and anthropology of religion and such things. But all these are related for me, and also in the musical genres, whether if it's a fusion music or a world music or or an ambient or a folky ethnofolk or ethno-jazz or whatever. I don't care. I do my singing, and it is the job of the judges. It is the job of the journalists and the CD shopkeepers. Where do they put it? It's not my job. I mean, I don't care about this. Imagine I was called a few years ago, I think, in just before the COVID, the last March of the COVID. I remember that to Belgium, to a conference of psychologists and different doctors studying this after-death experience, you know. And I was invited to sing a performance for a very special reciting, a very special confession, namely a psychologist lady in Belgium could speak about her after-death experiences, which she had when she was 8 years old.
Wow.
Only 50 years after that. 50 years after the experience. At the meantime, she became a psychologist studying this after-death experiences, and she decided to create an international interdisciplinary conference. And when she could write her experience in her age of 8, she could formulate it and make a narration of it, and she could read it publicly. She decided to read it, the story itself, how she felt, what she experienced. It was a narration, a performance at the conference, and she asked me to make an acoustic background for it, to sing it.
That's incredible.
And I didn't know her. She knew my CDs only. She knew this Inner Voice CD. That was the reason she called me. And she called me, and I invited her to this room. She was sitting here in the chair where you are sitting now. And she gave me the story, what she could write 50 years after it. I said, okay, do you think you could sing something for it? And she said she would like to have my voice under her narration of her own experience. Am I clear? Can you understand?
Yes, it's fantastic.
And I accepted it, and we did it. We made it at the closing session of the conference, and it was amazing.